So this is question 12, paper 1, higher 2011. We have a diagram consisting of a couple of right-angled triangles, and we have to find the value of the sine of angle P plus Q. That's this large angle here. Now, it's obvious that this large angle is not one of the angles of the right-angled triangle. Parts of this angle, the two bits it's made up of, are certainly angles in right-angled triangles. P is an angle in this right-angled triangle, and Q is an angle in this larger right-angled triangle. But the actual angle P plus Q is not an angle in a right-angled triangle. So finding the sine of this angle is not immediately possible. So we have to have some way of going from the sine of the sum of these two angles to the individual sines and cosines of P and Q. Now, fortunately, there is a formula that you're given. Let's look at it. There it is. You'll find this in your formula sheet in the exam, which goes from the sine of the sum of two angles, we ignore the minus sign just now, to the sines and cosines of the individual bits of that larger angle. The pattern being the sine of A plus B is a sine cos cos sine pattern. So this is the formula that would have to, of course, translate it into P's and Q's. So let's try and do that. The sine of this large angle P plus Q would be, so the pattern's sine cos cos sine, so sine P cos Q plus cos P sine Q. So we're now down to the individual angles in right-angled triangles, and we certainly have a way of working out what the sines and cosines of angles in right-angled triangles are using our SQA memory technique. So let's work our way through this. The sine of angle P, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. There's P, we're looking at this right angle triangle. So the sine of P would be the opposite, that's 2 over the hypotenuse root 5. So that's 2 divided by root 5. Cos Q, we're multiplying by cos Q. The cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. There's Q. We're using this large right angle triangle. Cosine of Q is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would be root 5 over 3. Then we're adding cosine of P. Cosine of this angle is adjacent over hypotenuse. That's 1 over root 5 times sine of Q, sine again opposite over hypotenuse, there's Q, opposite 2 over hypotenuse 3, so that's 2 over 3. Now, we need to simplify the product of two fractions, and the rule being you just multiply the two numerators and you multiply the two denominators. So for this first product, 2 times root 5, 2 root 5, and 3 times root 5. Now that in a minute can be simplified. Similar procedure here, 1 times 2, 3 times root 5, 3 root 5. Now the final simplification, if we divide the top and the bottom of this fraction by root 5, these disappear, cancelling root 5. So we're left with 2/3 plus 2 over 3 root 5. And if we examine the choices that were given, you'll see that this is choice C. That's the correct choice. So let's write that down, choice C for that question.